Video
We're
is
like
being live streamed. Got it.
we are being live streamed. What up, GSD family? What's going on? How is your Wednesday? It's Happy Hump Day, man. Thanks for being here, Matt.
It is hump day, isn't it?
It is. It's a
Totally
big.
forgot. Like every day just blends for me.
Yeah, I know. Especially since sometimes we're working on Saturdays, we're working on Sundays, and Monday is like, oh, is it Friday? No, it's
Yeah.
Monday. So we get to smile even harder because now we got more days to serve people. So, anyways, what's up, fam? I'm Rahul. We got our main guest here, Matt Peterson. We're gonna dive into his journey and his story of where he's come from and how we even came and crossed paths to be able to serve him. And I want to kind of give a little brief background because some of you guys don't know us. If you are here on the live, drop me a hashtag live, throw some hearts over there, give us the energy, the currency of hearts, maybe even some
Thumbs up.
Yeah, okay, so Matt, if you like Matt better than me right now, whoever's more attractive, you
Put up the
thumbs up
rock.
for
Put up
Matt.
the rock hands.
Yeah, rock hand for Matt.
There's so
Thumbs
many
up
different
for Matt.
emojis you can use.
We'll make it binary. Thumbs up for
Yeah.
Matt, hearts for me. Okay. All right. So we're going to dive into this. So in case you guys don't know who we are, my name is Rahul. My partner is Cody. We run a program called the GSD Elite Mastermind, where we help aspiring coaches, consultants, marketing agencies unleash all of their talent that they've had and learned from previous coaches, or just skip the line and come directly to us so we can get you from 6-7 figures. I know that that's the outcome number everybody throws out. It's easy to kind of say from us, but the reality is we teach you in between the lines of a business because everybody has a fucking roadmap. But now we're actually going to teach you how to operate that manual like it's a goddamn Ferrari, so you can actually start racing around the tracks and doing fancy shit. So we simplify the methods so you can actually execute rather than have paralysis by analysis. How was that for an introduction, Matt?
That
Does
was
that
pretty
describe
good.
us? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that was like racing around the track, not knowing what to do. Just like, what do you call it? Drifting.
There you go, drifting. Yeah, Tokyo Drift, baby. Okay, cool. So why don't you introduce yourself, Matt?
My name's Matt Peterson. I've been doing this for quite a while. Rahul and I, we met through another group, Billy Jean's group. I absolutely, that was the group that I got into that got me started. After I got started, things just kind of like plateaued. Like I got my first $5,000 in recurring revenue in a month, right? And I was like super stoked about that because I was driving for Uber. I was in the military. I went to school for music business. I went to school to be a cop, didn't know what to do, all this crazy stuff. And I was actually working at a major not a record label, but a booking agency. And I was actually running the Facebook pages for like Brett Michaels, Warrant, Saliva, D. Snyder. So I was heavy in the music business, but getting out of college, making $750 an hour. What? You've got to be kidding me. These artists are getting, 300, 250,000 a show. And I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? So that's how I got into Facebook marketing. That's how I got started. We got into Billie Jean, and things were going great at first. And then I just kind of felt stuck. Like I wasn't being, I was hovering around the 10 grand, coming back down, going back up. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. You guys get a couple of big wins, few big wins, then it comes down. Like that's just the nature of the beast of owning a business in general. You have those ups and downs, but it has to be that up, trajectory going up and up and up. But I joined a lot of other coaches and groups, and it was just like there wasn't a personal feel to it, or the content wasn't there, right? I like some major groups spending tens of thousands of dollars. And I was like, I had it, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing that's wrong. And it can't get me through that, break through that ceiling. Obviously you and I, we were friends. We hung out before this, I saw you taking some really big strides in the coaching, real estate, all these other things that you're putting together. And like, you're workhorse. You and Cody are definitely workhorses. I hopped on a call and I talked to you guys, decided to jump into this all at the same time while having a child too. So it was like the first 2 months kind of slowed me down. But once I got my stride, and you guys honestly have helped me out so much, because when you and I were talking, I was only at like, 6, maybe 5, 6 clients. Now I'm up to 15. And that's over the last month that like I actually put my, jumped in feet first. I'm up to 15 clients. And I haven't spent a single dime on ads this year at all, not a single penny of it. And that was all due to the perfect stranger method that Ben helped me out with. He actually gave me the script for that, after I joined. And then I kind of looked at it. And it's very, very simple. Like you were saying on the call, keep it simple, stupid, just like keep it simple. Well, I just kind of tailored that, it was, you've got a lot of stuff for real estate, but I just tailored that towards body contouring. And I also figured out another way to kind of get the interest of people in body contouring and kind of put that together. And it was like if you guys have ever been in school, like 8th grade, whatever, and you're doing a math problem and you just don't know what it is, your teacher's helping you out with it. And then all of a sudden it just clicks, right? Now you know how to do that math problem or anything like that math problem. That's what it felt like working with you guys when it came to the perfect stranger method, bringing in new demos. I knew that I could close on demos. Like I'm a decent closer. Now I was a decent closer. Now I'm a way better closer. I was like, okay, I'm going to track my closing rate for August. It was 87%. That was with, getting people warmed up through Facebook, right? That was also the demo, going through the demo that you provided us. Like I've gotten demos from other coaches too, but it was like, okay, well, this all looks pretty generic or whatever, but just trying to figure out how to make that work for you. But man, guys, what I'm telling you, when it clicks and it feels so damn good.
Man, I had a lot to unpack there, man. So first I want to start off. I mean, I feel like I'm a student taking notes with all of what you're saying here. So I mean, like basically we're getting close to 3xing your client count. So triple what you had.
Have never done that before with another coach.
I love that. So we're gonna break that down in a second. The number 2 thing you said was you didn't spend a dime on ads. So you followed our step-by-step process of our perfect stranger method.
Yeah.
Then you showed up, you got help with scripting.
Yeah.
Then you took the scripting, modified it based off human behavior of what people were saying back to you, so you can make little tweaks in between the moment. And then all of a sudden, boom, now people who are calling you and getting you on the phone, you're closing almost 9 out of 10 people. So my job is to say, so I can say 9 out of 10, we need to get you to 90%. So I don't want to say like, oh, Matt has 87%, and I would have
been happy with like 40 or 50%. But when I looked at the numbers, and that's what we have to do as, business owners and agencies, is we've got to take a look at the numbers, right? If you can tell like, how many demos are you booking? How many conversations are you having? How many closes are you getting? I wrote all that down. I was like, holy crap, it's 87%.
Now, what you just said, the KPIs, key performing indicators, those are probably some of the scariest things to do when you're doing it yourself, because you have this court of public appeal. You're like, well, I don't want to track myself, so I can just say, oh, I'm a 30% closer, I'm a 50% closer. But when you stare yourself in the mirror and you actually fucking document it for yourself, not for me, not for your daddy, not for your mommy, for you specifically, what you now know is you have a model. Now you can actually formulate. If you have a shit closing ratio, I need to train on either the marketing sucks or the sales suck or both. Now you learn, hey, let me get some better marketing. Let me warm them up a little bit better in the customer journey. And number 2 is like, if I can actually like heat them up so they actually want this and get better at sales and get better at the skilled questions, then maybe they will buy rather than the typicals. Like what I hear, what I do not accept is any objection. Money, not an objection. That's just a circumstance. Time, not an objection. That's a logistic. Fear is what I'm really dealing with. Are you uncertain that you can't buy this thing? Are you uncertain that it won't work? Are you uncertain that blah, blah, blah? So now we have these questions to make sure that that person doesn't get in their own way from a sales side. So we got the marketing, we got the sales, we got the zero ad spend. But what I'm actually getting at is once you track this stuff, guys in the audience, and Matt's going to kind of touch on this and echo something after I say this, that's my cue for you to talk, is that now you can actually bring people in. Now you can actually train people without having the headache and saying like, oh man, that guy quit on me. Oh man, I wish they can actually get better. Now you have something called a roadmap. Now you can say, hey guys, these are my numbers. This is what I'm expecting. Here's how we're going to get there. We're going to start off with you training on the product. We're going to have you listen to some recorded calls. We're going to have you actually demonstrate it right away. And then we're going to actually train you on what you suck at. And then we're going to make you a champion. And then all of a sudden your confidence is amazing. So rather than train somebody for a year and just say, man, they're almost there, get them fucking there with a roadmap. And that's what we do. That's what we do for you guys in the audience. That's what we do with Matt. That's what we do with our own team. So we're practicing and distilling 17 years of mistakes, millions of dollars in mistakes, so nobody has to make them.
Absolutely. And, having that roadmap, it does make all the difference. Not only that, having those like-minded individuals like within the group themselves, like I've made a lot of friendships already with everyone in there. Having that is really key too, because there are a lot of people that are within the group that have helped me out, and I've helped them out. And that's, being an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest jobs. And, so when you are picking, a coaching program or whatever it is, that's just an added benefit. It's just kind of a byproduct of what you're getting. The detailed roadmap that you have planned out, within the group, I absolutely love it. Again, I was kind of skeptical when I was like talking to you, and you're like, you asked me like, do you believe I can help you? I'm like, well, I don't know. We're going to try it out, and it's been great. It's definitely been great. Kind of, it changed a lot of the way I do business, how I do business. Now, one of the things that we're working on now is the SOPs for the outreach. Like we talked about before, is we talked on the phone. You're like, you got to create an SOP for your ISAs or your VAs and stuff like that. That's one thing I didn't have. I had every other SOP for creating different ads and all this other stuff. But that's really important too. So you have to have SOPs for every kind of facet of your business. You've got marketing, you've got sales, and you've got fulfillment, at a 30,000 foot level, and you got to kind of break all that stuff down. When you have a couple clients here and there, 5 clients, you can get away without doing that. Absolutely. But once you start to get 10, 20, whatever, it's almost mandatory that you have to do that. You have to, and you've got a lot of that stuff already within your program. It's almost a no-brainer,
Yeah, and I'm glad I've been through a lot of programs, and as I go through programs, like what I'm looking for is, because like I don't like what I've seen in a lot of them. And a lot of them is like, hey, I paid you this 30K, 50K, 100K for your knowledge and your wisdom. But then the entrepreneur who built it has their underlings in there that don't know shit. They don't know business. And then you have this confidence of like, bro, like, can I trust you because I trusted that person? We don't do that. Cody and I show up for everything. We plan to forever. Now, the other part is like, what I also don't like is like saying, hey, you need an SOP for hiring a VA. Like, go build one. I'm like, motherfucker, that's what I thought I bought. But with our program, you get it. Saying, here's the SOP. If you need to change something, guess what? It's editable. Type words, bro. Type words. But the whole thing, it's already done.
That's one thing that did bother me with with other people out there. They're like, you got to create an SOP. Great. Where do I start? Okay, great. Where do I start? Like, I remember 4 years ago, I was like, I knew I needed to create an SOP, but I was like, okay, where do I start? I'm too busy for this. I don't know what to do. One thing that you do is you just start from step 1, first of all. But if when you jump into this program, it's already all built out for you, right? And being able to get in there and edit it to whatever it is that you need. That's the biggest part too, is like, you've got this thing that works. Now you just got to go and, delete one thing, add another thing. It's a lot easier to do if you have that, canvas already kind of almost filled out for you.
100%. So then let me ask a flip side of the coin question here.
Yeah.
So like, let's just say we had that call, and on that call where you decided to move forward, let's say you didn't, like, what would things look like now for you?
Well, I wouldn't have these new clients. I wouldn't have gotten paid, what I got paid last month. I mean, I would have more headaches right now. I'd be just beating my head against the wall still. It was like there was this cloud kind of hanging over me. I mean, last year, towards the end of last year, it was a terrible year for me. Going into this year, it was terrible. And I didn't know what was getting in my way. I didn't know what my roadblocks were or why this cloud was kind of hanging over me, right? But when you talk to someone else, you know, that not necessarily knows more than you, but has a bit more experience and, you know, created this entire program, that they can look in your business and say, okay, you're missing this puzzle and this puzzle. Don't overthink it, you know, just kind of analyze. Cause like, and again, Raul, like that's what I love about this is like, you guys are more hands-on than most of the coaches I've ever known out there. Right. I've never once had a conversation with, you know, a lot of the coaches that I've had. And for you to give me a call and just be like, all right, what's going on? You know, that's power. That's super, super impressive when it comes to a coach.
Yeah, I mean, because like with Cody and I, the decision we made is we have to keep our promises, which is unique in today's world. It's easy to make a scary offer. It's even more unique to actually deliver, and that's what we want to teach everybody. Is like, I come from a handshake world. We shake hands. We just did what we said we're gonna do, but now it's a different era where there's skeptics out there, and unfortunately, it impacts all of us. It impacts the guys watching this video. By the way, hashtag live. Who's here? We got Mr. Edmund. Love the dude. We've had a bunch of calls. We got Jacob. We got Nico's. We got who else? Brian the OG. We got Denise on here.
Brian the OG.
You guys here. Big pause here right now because there's a bunch of you. We're giving away something for free. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. All I'm going to say is you're going to want it and it will help you. So in order to get something for free, say, I'm next. I'm next. I am next. Now, hashtag I'm next, or just say it. So not present, Nikos, I am next. Cool. Okay, cool. All right, guys.
Also, like you know, one thing I really love about, you know, what you guys have created too is like every single day you guys have a call, right? You're checking in on everybody in the personal group. You know, you guys are you get just so incredibly active. And, you know, because I can't make every single call, right? But I can jump in on a Thursday or a Wednesday or a Tuesday, and I've got it all saved into my, you know, my Google. But like, I just love that it's not just 1 day a week or 2 days a week. You know, it's that over delivering part that you guys provide.
Yeah, and the access is important to us when we make the promises. I mean, you see our videos yesterday. I dropped the video in the chat. I'm like, hey, you guys need help? Fucking ask, man. I can't predict. I can't read your mind. Here's my calendar link. If you want, if you want to jump on. I can give you an answer, and if I can help your problem, like let's ask those questions. That's what you bought access for. And plus, you mentioned the environment. So like when if somebody here is on the fence of like considering like getting coaching, or they're already in a coaching program, or they're thinking like, well, fuck, it's so much money for my situation right now. Like, what would you tell that person now that you've been and experienced this? Like, what that even sounds like? Like, it sounds silly after the fact. Like, it's expensive when it's like, oh man, I have to commit. But then like, well, like what freedom do you have after you've actually executed?
Well, like, I mean, I was on the fence too. You know, I was like, well, man, you know, I had another guy, you know, tell me, he's like, all right, you're not allowed to spend any more for coaching this year. You're just not. I was like, you know what, you're right. I gotta figure this out and get it done. But like, if you're on the fence, jump off, go for it. Like you have to do it. And if you do decide to do it, give 110%. Like get real with yourself. Like, ask yourself those honest questions. Like, if you're only given 80, 70, 60%, you're not going to get anything out of it. Like, you have to be willing to commit. Like, what does this mean for your business? What does this mean for your life? Right. I had a baby back in June. You know, it was tough for me to do this and that at the same time, but I was like, dude, I got a baby now. I got to focus on this and get it done. You know, it might take you a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, but it's going to click. And when it does click, I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's worth the money in the bank. It's worth helping these businesses out that you're working with. And it's going to benefit you in the long run. I mean, think about why you started this to begin with, right? Think about why you wanted your own business. For me, it was just freedom. You know, I was sick of building someone else's dream. You know, obviously this isn't a get rich quick scheme at all. And we all know that, but we also need help too, because we don't know everything. We can't sit there and read books 24/7. why not pay for someone to give you those shortcuts, right? Get ahead of the game faster. If you're on the fence, just do it.
Awesome. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
And now for you guys that are still here, can we get some hearts here? Like some fucking hearts. Let's go. Let's get some energy. We got Ashley Glenn in the house. What up,
Ashley Glenn, oh boy.
we got my main man Carl Summerer. He's next because he just enrolled today, this morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Carl's in the building. Ruben Lamone committed last week while we were at TNC. Who else is next? We got Edmund, who is committing. We're gonna call you. I didn't know you were at Funnel Hacking, but we're gonna get you in the program too. We got my main man Chris Hall. He's committing. He actually already made the commitment. I got to get back to you, my man. I see you in my messenger. But now we're gonna go over the roadmap. I'm gonna have so this man has taken information that we've helped him with, and now he's customized it. Hey, guess what? You guys can customize stuff. You can add your own personality to your own pitch, but you can leverage our frameworks. So what this guy did is he's beating me, quite honestly, at 87%. I think I'm fucking good. He's actually better at the closing ratio. So 87% is just absolutely impressive. Without giving away the farm and sharing your secret sauce, can you kind of describe it in words of the systematic approach and maybe in a step-by-step format so people can take notes? So when you take notes right now, this is your cue. Right now, while Matt's about to talk on the front end, take some notes right here because this is an 87% closing ratio. So if you got Netflix on, you got a client call or whatever, this may be a little bit of a priority.
I think when using the perfect stranger method, it's not about selling. It's about creating that conversation first, right? Warming them up to have that conversation to figure out if they are even the right people and if they are a good fit, right? The script that I got from Ben, it was pretty small, but I did stumble on something that helps body contouring businesses. I added in an explainer video. It's just a video that I created. It was industry specific. And I asked them for their honest opinion on it. Is this misleading, whatever it is? And all I was doing was creating that conversation with them. It does take a little bit more time, but I'm telling you, it does warm them up. So the perfect stranger method is designed to have that conversation. Oh, by the way, I can help you out with that. When you ask them the question, what is it? What kind of issues are you having in your business? Hey, I can help you out with that. Would you have, 25 minutes to jump on a call or whatever? They would jump on a call. At first, what I was doing was I was doing intro calls. That was working. I was at 0% for that. I would get them on the phone, try and, dissect everything, and they were just not having it. I was setting up 0 demo calls with that. Completely got rid of that per your guys's, advice. Ran into the demo right away. But once I got them on the demo, and that was the demo that you gave us, it was all real estate, and I just completely reformatted it. That was all. It was just taking pictures out, putting new pictures in, taking a little bit different content out. But the way that the demo is set up, it explains a little bit about why you're doing what you do, right? It explains a little bit about why the program got started, giving your service or whatever a program name. And then it kind of went into testimonials and all this other stuff. But one thing that I did learn with the demo was getting people to laugh, right? I've got a screen. It's got a testimonial from a past client of mine that says, Matt is truly one of the best Facebook marketers I've ever seen out there. And he was an awesome person to work with. And I put it in bold, and I always say, hey, can you see that bold real quick? Can you read that for me? And says, and they go Matt is the best Facebook marketer. And I just kind of laugh at hey, thanks very much. I greatly appreciate that. That's awesome for that. You could say that. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, just getting them to laugh and open up a little bit more, asking them questions, doing those heat checks. That was one of the biggest takeaways from your group and your program. That's what I needed help with. I went directly to that video. I went to everything on there and I watched all of it, kind of implemented that, turned it to what I needed it and how I needed it to work. But then once we got to the closing part of it, they were already excited about the program. They were already excited. I'd read them the price and say, hey, you want to do it? I knew that they were ready to close. If they weren't, I'd read the price, tackle whatever objections. Hey, you want to do it? That's literally it. Hey, you want to do it or what? Just that's my close. That's what I'm asking for. And they're like, all right, let's do it. If there's any objection, like I'll take away the sign up fee, the $250 sign up fee. Well, if I take away the $250 sign up fee, would you do it? Yeah. All right, great. Let's get started. Boom, boom, boom. And like you were saying before, don't let them off the phone unless you've got some kind of money. Like I've even taken $150 deposits. Like I've taken, just give me something, $150. If we don't ever talk again, that covers my hour for the demo. So kind of going through the perfect stranger method of doing it, and then getting into the demo, getting them to laugh, lighten up a little bit, asking some personal questions, then going into like exactly how the program works, and then the close. Like it works.
I love how you've described everything. And this is going to be a little bit of a lesson that's in between the lines of Matt's words here, is have a very simple process.
Yes.
Practice the most important parts of that simple process, and do not do too much offering. Do not, and when I say offering, don't have a laundry list like a grocery store has a ton of SKUs. Be really fucking good at what you do, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter, because I hear a lot of agencies, a lot of the people we've done demo calls with, or I'm sorry, not demo, discovery calls and sales calls with, and even coaching, it's like, hey, my offer works, I'm gonna go try Google Ads. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. So you want to go with what works. And that's like, look what happened to Michael Jordan. He said, now that I've conquered basketball, let me go to baseball. Look what that happened. He had to come back to basketball.
Nope.
Like, do not do that. Stay in your lane, dude. Just because then my analogy is, I always say, is like, look, I love my fucking gardener. This thing looks absolutely gorgeous, and the neighbor's house looks like shit. I love my gardener. But this dude, I will not trust with my taxes. Not at all. Not one bit. So don't do that to your own agency. Stay in your lane.
There was something that you brought up too. Like, I remember when, we were talking, I was like, dude, I've got nobody to role play with. I was like, I said that on the call with you. I was like, you're like, oh, by the way, every, whatever day it was, like, we've got role playing sessions, right? That is super ass important. Like I was working with, chiropractors, then auto repair. A lot of you know that I worked with auto repair, and it just completely flopped, right? Because I was getting a lot of people to sign up, and I wasn't able to get them results. So essentially I created a whole new agency, back when we first started, and we're doing great now. But a lot of that has to do with practicing, like practice on your dog, practice in the mirror, practice, like going through, like I read my demo like every single day, and not only that too, you guys having the role playing part of it. Always be happy when you're doing a demo. If you're in the dumps, this is just my 2 cents kind of going off it, but like I've done demos where I've been in a really piss poor mood, and I get off, I'm like, man, I shouldn't have done that. But like every time, like I schedule my demos between the hours of 11 and like 4, like that's when I'm super, super happy, and just getting excited and overplaying, and like, being a little bit more, on video.
You gotta get in state. Yeah. I mean, you got to show up for what you do. If you love what you do, you got to get that energy even when you don't want to do it.
I love the role playing part of what you guys are doing. Cause like I don't think I've been in a coaching program that does that. It's the whole hour or whatever it is, just dedicated to role playing. Like you can contact whoever's in there, and everyone in there serious about it. They're not like, it's not like they don't want to be there. They all want to be there, and they want to help you out too. Like you can contact anyone in the group, like, hey dude, let's hop on a role play session for like 30 minutes, whatever, and just talk to them outside of the group.
Yep.
And you're just perfecting your art. You're perfecting your craft. And that was another huge part of what you do that has helped me out.
I love it, man. No, I mean, like that means the world to not only myself and Cody, but also we're excited for what's next with you, because we know that decisions can be made. There's an indecision is also a decision, right? And now that you made this decision, there's no regrets, I'm assuming.
No, there's not. There isn't a single regret. There's a saying that I heard from someone that says, if you feel like you've got everything under control, you're not pushing hard enough. Or if you have everything under control, you're not pushing hard enough, right? Right now it's chaos. I've got a lot of clients, little things are breaking here and there in high level. We're managing it. We're getting it all to work. I've got people that want us to connect with like Mind Body and all these other calendars. I love those problems. You want to know why? Because that means I'm getting paid, right? I'm getting paid to do it. So it feels like chaos right now. I'm super busy, but I love it because now once I iron those problems out, I'm going to be able to scale it up. What I've done was I've hired 2 ISAs and an appointment setter. I'm going to see how they do over the next month. I really want, they guarantee me, you know, the 15 to 20 appointments. We're going to see how that goes. It's only like $250 or whatever. And I told them, I was like, okay, if this goes well over the month, I'm going to buy like 4 next month and we're going to flood. I'm going to give, you know, my VA so much work. And my goal by the end is
I'm going to cut you off right there. Here's the actual smart play. Number one, you can leverage money to get the predictable possible results. Let's see if it works. It'll be amazing. If it doesn't, make that the expectation. But here's the thing. Hire somebody for yourself. They'll get you 80 appointments a month for the same price, but then we'll train them in the group because we have a team edition. You just bring them, let us train them directly. You fucking grow, you sell. Yeah. The beautiful part about what you just mentioned about your problems is that it's a good problem when things are breaking, because as long as it's something new that broke. If you're still dicking around like, oh, I can't figure out my offer, then we need to stay in that pocket, because then we don't worry about sales yet. We can't it's like you can't outrun a shit diet. If you eat pizza every meal, you can run a marathon. You probably are going to be like broken inside. So let's just fix what needs fixing. And then we go to the next problem, then the next problem. And that's kind of how we simplify.
It's so funny because like I'm looking at my Facebook message popped up. It was a client of mine introducing me to her friend to be a new client. Like I'm getting these referrals. I'm getting people to like reach out to me. I created my own group. I've got some really heavy goals, and I took, you know, this was part of what I took from Grant Cardone is like set those goals to like 100,000, right? If you don't hit that, at least, you know, versus 10,000, right? There's a difference there. Once you hit the 10,000, like, okay, great. You know, let's push them up. Well, if you shoot for the 100,000 goal and you come up short, like 75K, that's good. You know, like, so at the end of the year here, I've got a goal for 60,000 a month, you know, and I'm pushing so incredibly hard to get that. I've got, you know, people reaching out to other people for me. I'm doing it myself, you know, doing it on Facebook. I've got, and not spending a single dime in Facebook ads. Like
that also frees up a lot of capital, and also allows you to hire people, but you're building the foundation of the infrastructure like a real business.
Right.
So now you don't, like, all the shit that you've done in the past, while that may be a good exploratory exercise, but now it's just like, there's a house behind me. It's not built on fucking quicksand. The shit's built on a foundation. Built the first floor, then we built the second floor, then we got a balcony, then we got a pool, then we got a barbecue, then we got a bar, then we upgraded. So remember that we're building a house of a business, but it's more important than ever. If you say you have goals, be the person, the perspective of that person. So if you make $0 and you want to make 100 grand a month, make the decisions the $100,000 person would make, because what they're not doing is fucking off. What they're not doing is making excuses. What that 100,000 a month person is, they're thinking, I want 500,000 a month. I'm going to be the $500,000 guy.
You got to be hungry, man. Like you've got to be hungry, right? And the way, like, whenever I'm feeling like, we all get down in the dumps. Like, I always think about my brand new child, my wife, my family, my house, my home, everything under my roof. But then I start to think about, you know, why did I start this business to begin with? Like, what is the reason why I wanted to do this, right? And every time that I get down, I think about where I was, you know, 7 years ago. Like, what kind of position? You know, I don't want to make $750 an hour anymore. I could never go to and get hired by anybody, not because I can't do it, just because I don't want to do it. You know, I want to create my own destiny. If I want to take a day off and go with my wife and kids up to a cabin, we can do that, right? We can afford a car, a house, all this stuff. And those are my whys. You know, next, you know, gets into like helping other businesses. Like literally, I just got a message from one of my clients who's super happy. She just referred me to someone else, and now I'm just like itching, like I'm trying to fight responding back, but you know, I'm committed to this call. I'm committed to you. And again, before I'm, you know, I'm not gonna say before I met you, but before I joined the Get Shit Done program, there was just so much confusion in my life, and I didn't know how to get out of that cloud of smoke, right? And again, like you guys have helped me do that. You guys have helped me more than any coach. I'm trying to be very careful with the words I say, but it's just, you've got so much to offer. For people that are brand new, it works for them. People that have been around for a couple of years, just looking to advance, it works for them. People have been around for 6 years like me, it works for us too. And if you've got any cloud or just fogginess of not knowing where to go, like, jump in and do it. I'm just gonna say, just go do it now.
Dude, that was awesome, man.
Like,
I
don't
want to
advocate for many. I don't advocate for many coaches. I just don't.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Because I know that you've been through a lot of self-education, and I'm glad that we were able to kind of match what you're looking for and exceed that expectation. So that means a lot.
$66,000.
That's like, I love it. I love it. So I mean, I bring up investment strategies. You can buy a house, you can buy a car, you can buy a boat, you can buy shoes, you can buy a new iPhone, but nothing matches you. Nothing matches the investment in you. Because if I can help you 50x your investment in what we promise as our outcome, man, what the fuck is there to wait? Because there's so many obstacles in life. Just don't make your future one of them. But Matt, thank you so much, man. I know that you are going to be berated with more referrals from your clients because you're getting shit done. So, but I'm glad you've got that channel, and I can't wait to see you at 2:00 today. So we're gonna have a lot of chat time on our call, our coaching call this afternoon, man. So thank you for so much for being here, everybody in the audience. Thank you for being here as well. I know that you have a lot of things to do in a day, and I appreciate you enjoying that time spent with us. It means a lot to us, and so we know you're here. Can you drop down a hashtag live, a hashtag replay as we end this? And we are giving a free gift. So if you say the words "I'm next," we are going to reach out to you with said free gift. But any gift we give is going to make your life better. So I promise you're going to want it. I'm going to, easier, better, faster, stronger, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. And that's going to be the anonymous factor. So you got to have the ability to write "I'm next." All right, bye guys. Thanks, Matt. Have a great day.
Take care.